Hello, welcome to the podcast from Duendelvin. I'm Taylor, and today we are talking about the empires again.
All right. I'm Kyle,
I'm Jeff.
and we are showing you the behind the scenes on how we build.
Yes. We still have some stuff.
We have a basic outline. So this is like the most unflushed out empire I think we have.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. And we just decided last time that we're just going to wing it and show you guys the how we do, and now you know how we do. And we did not get the cannon button yet. But we'll get a cannon button and it'll be great.
We can find
Since
one.
we're behind the scenes-ing, this one's actually recording like 5 minutes after the Tuesday one.
Hence
With like the same outfits. Even my mic is the same color.
Here, I can throw some variants here. Let's go. Yeah.
Let's see.
Oh, hold on, just gotta...
Small cannon.
We're looking up small cannon right now. Small electric.
Really? It's all just the camera. Okay.
We'll have to do some digging.
Moving on.
I think yeah, we can probably find one.
What city do you want to learn about?
First.
Ow.
We don't have that city. I'm a bad man. Would you like to see so you can pick?
So we talked
What?
about Satan.
Sayatan. Sayatan.
Sayatan.
Here's all the cities if you want to take a look and pick one that we can talk about.
Is there anything we missed about Sayatown?
I don't think so. We talked about the fact that it's the seat of power and that it's positioning in the wastes and it's like the small nature of it. It's only the elite live there, and it's
too big for just the elite.
well effectively, but yeah, like you're gonna have anyone that supports the elite are going to be there. That's the seat of power for the entire empire.
Yeah.
So that's where they're born, raised, taught. That's where effectively aristocrats. Wow, no, terrible movie. Aristocrats are aristocrats. The aristocracy is trained and cultivated. Is going to be out of there, and they'll eventually travel and see their other the other major cities and go around. But most of it's like a finishing school, and they're surrounded by people who are of their same station and caste, and so there's a mentality that starts to create there.
Yeah.
But obviously, we also talked about they are still Thernic worshippers, so their focus on peace is going to nullify that I'm better than you, in the same way that we have it here. It's the I'm better than you, so I must take care of you.
Right.
Is the difference, because it would be an affront to the Horakai to abuse neglect those in your charge. So keeping in mind that they're very closely tied to religion as their upbringing. They are taught how to effectively maximize the ability to appease the Horakai.
There it is.
Yep.
So instead of snobby rich kids, we have very aggressively kind rich kids.
Let me love on you! Accept my charity!
All right.
So yeah, that's Sayatan. The architecture is going to be lavish, massive, gold filigree, white pillar stone, or multicolors. Like it's going to just be grand.
It wouldn't necessarily be gold.
Not gold, but
That's what we envision because gold is valuable.
but that's the idea. Is that it's going to be plentiful in value, and it's going to be castles.
Purples.
They'll have castles like estates.
Yeah.
So they're going. Yeah, you'll have each estate is going to be a walled off section. I didn't talk about this at all. That's my bad. So they're going to have that. This is my estate for this family. This is my estate for this family. And as we get into more of the nitty gritty, because I think he said it was 4 families. I think
We
didn't. Okay, it's an aristocracy.
Canon.
4 families. There are 4 major families that are existing, and they rotate the rule as far as who has final say.
All right.
So each of them seats as the head, and then that's their council. Is the other three.
All right, because I'm kind of imagining like purple.
Purple would be definitely a color scheme that you would have here, but you'd have different family with different liveries, and we will have
It's 4 families.
That's lovely.
That's gonna be our temporary canon button. I love it.
Okay. All right. So where to next? Oh,
Alright.
real quick. I think the estates should be like, unlike the estates here where it's a gated community, the estates in Sayatan are like grassed areas where if you like this area is owned by the family, so there's like this like noticeable line around it that you can walk in if you want to.
Yep.
But it's just known like this is this family.
So no walls. It's
No
just
walls.
it's just gonna have what's gonna set them apart is going to be their landscaping.
Right.
Oh.
Because
And
under the rule of peace, you wouldn't need walls.
No.
Outside of, I mean, the city itself has walls, but that's because the landscape and the animals and everything are so dangerous.
they would pick the most dangerous section to be the home of peace.
I know.
Way to go, Theranik, you beast of a manipulator.
We love the Horakai.
We're good with that one?
We love the
Good with
Horakai so much.
Landscaping is the difference.
All right.
Okay, next city.
Let's see. We touched a bit on Newmandel, I think.
Newmandel, the city of
Nandaria
And Daria.
is what it's called now.
Yeah.
Nandaria is the
Noondaria. Yep,
is the
the rich city vacation spot.
rich city vacation spot.
It's also where the soldiers train outside. So they go on vacation and they go train. This is the greatest. I would love to be a soldier in this army.
Right.
Also thinking about it, like, you don't have servants quite the same way because this is the city where you're going to have brooms that sleep for themselves.
Lots
And,
of automation.
Yep, the automation is the lap of luxury. Lamps that light themselves up. It's going to be heavy on the ritual lamp magic. Ritual stones would be abundant.
Yeah, and they just do rituals in the wastelands
Yep.
so they can keep all this stuff out. Oh my goodness. That is a great quote. So this quote is from Kyle, but we're going to give it to a different. So one of the lords of the 4 houses. Look at those poor people with less than a
Less than a han between their
which
houses.
is their
Equivalent.
with less than 1 han between the houses.
Can't imagine living in such tight confines.
Could you imagine an
aristocrat.
aristocrat going from Sayatan, having grown up there, and then he turns like 20, and he's like, I want to go see the world. So he travels to Nandaria, and he's like, this place is cool, and the military in the background, because that's all they do all day, just the once. And then he floats over to Garthia, and he's like, why does everybody live so close together?
Thank you for the phonetic spelling.
Appreciate that.
Now let's spell phonetic.
Crap.
Just like I can't spell poeple.
Yes. Okay, so what's next?
Oh my
Which one
god.
you pick?
So I want to say that, like, okay, so think, like, if you went to the Caribbean.
Open homes, breezeways.
Well, so with Nandaria.
Yeah.
If you went to the Caribbean and stayed at, like, one of the really nice hotels there.
Except
This
it
is the
wouldn't be,
way.
it wouldn't
it
be
is
a
right on
hotel
the-
with lots of people. It would be like, here is your spot.
Your bungalow.
Here's your bungalow. Only your bungalow is massive.
Timothelian, go play with the neighbor's kid. But Mom, I don't want to walk a long time to go over there.
Silly boy, no one said walk, take a carriage. It's
Okay.
oh my
Alright.
gosh,
We're
you
not
have,
going to make much time.
nope.
No.
Uber like you have Ubers.
Yeah.
Uber carriages.
Super carriages. Carriages. Take that carriage.
Garage.
Okay, what's next?
Okay. Alright. Moving
Maintain your
away.
souls.
Got.
They have bonded, right? Like bonded carriages. So like the carriages are pulled by bonded creatures rather than just by Irbisols.
Oh.
That would not make sense.
Why not? if you bond,
unless there's a dude doing it.
yeah, there's this particular family because you're born into your station, so there'll be a family who is bonded to.
Sure.
That also fits the style, like the feel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Well played. You knew I was waiting for it.
I could see your eyes through your sunglasses.
What?
No.
I can see through your face.
Terrifying.
It's an anime reference. I'm so sorry. Anyway,
Next
city.
All right. Oh my god, Mistrad. Just on the opposite side.
Mistrad, the northernmost city.
The
Is it
city.
the northernmost city?
Yeah, it's the northern.
It is the northernmost city. Place of magical wisdom. The greatest mages travel from all corners of Savarion to learn from the scholars here. I think this is where the college is.
The arcane school.
The Arcane College.
The arcane school.
The
would be
primary
here.
college of Arcane is here. So, the Swamp Dwellers
Have
play
access.
with magic.
Yep.
But, like, you wouldn't go learn there.
You would go experiment there.
You could,
if you want
yeah,
to do
but you
mad
wouldn't go learn.
science, if
Yeah.
you like, that's you're gonna have. So thinking about it, like they would be taking they would be taking and doing a lot of hybrid work. They would be combining magics aggressively and wantonly.
Right.
But this college, it's structured.
Right, because essence magic is a little more wild. Whereas arcane magic and mundane magic have to be developed. And so I propose that Mistrad is where you go to college. And if you're a mundane or an arcanist, you would go to college. Either one of those you'd go to college at.
Well, there are certain places where you're gonna have mundane schools like illusion, sheltercraft. Those are all technically mundane schools.
Well, yes.
Yes, but this will be like where you would go.
This is the Harvard of those places.
Gotcha. So you're gonna learn. Yeah, I gotcha. Like it's like I'm gonna be a shelter crafter. Oh, I can go learn at this backwater bumpkin college town, or I can go to Harvard and learn how to make castles out of. Yeah.
Right. So Mistrad is going to be the place.
Not saying that our shelter crafters can make castles. Just saying that in comparison.
Right.
Yeah.
Why couldn't they?
Shelter crafting is kind of the biggest thing that shelter crafters do and they learn is how to set. That's one of the first things they learn is how to set a building so that it can't be manipulated by magic.
Which an earth mage could do.
Yep.
And so shelter crafting is used to
Create.
make it so that earth mages can't move stuff. It's less about like making a house that you can live in out of magic and more about
Preventing your magic.
preventing magic from being able to tamper with it.
So if I'm gonna break it, like it's like it has a beautiful city wall. Oh, congratulations! Did you set it? I don't know. What do you mean set it? What wall? I just made a hole in your wall.
My wall.
So you could theoretically make a house out of anything and then set it. And so shelter crafting wouldn't be, probably you wouldn't go to Mistrad to learn shelter crafting so much. But you would for like automation and illusion crafting and all of that kind of stuff. You would go to Mistrad.
This is also where your bardic college is going to be, where you would go to learn the tales, learn the music performance, like to take it to the next level.
In the mundane performance.
Yeah, in the mundane performing.
Not in the essence.
Not in the essence. The essence performing. Wow, essence performing skill sets. You are going to fall into those naturally and just learn how to naturally do bad things to people with music.
Yes. But also your arcane school.
Yes.
So your arcanists are going to be there. So this place would be like definitely have the I'm better than you mentality because arcanists who have gone to school for it, who aren't the water.
They're not the water gypsies.
Yeah, the water gypsies.
Sorry. There's a
the
different
faction
phrase
that,
there, but that's effectively it.
like the well diggers.
Yep,
is
the
what
well.
we call them. So there's a faction of arcanists who are well diggers.
They're selfless and their sole purpose is to go and purify and create new water sources.
Yeah. And so you'd go to Mistrad to learn arcane magic in its entirety. And you have like robes that you get issued if you graduate to college and stuff like that. So it's very like
Snooty, don't be so snooty booty.
much like somebody who went to Harvard would hang their diploma. I went to Harvard Law. Or whatever. Yeah, that kind of similar mentality of like we're just better than you.
Yup. Oh, you got your education where? Oh, you poor unfortunate soul.
Mistrad.
All right. That's
All
Mistrad.
right.
You're also gonna have a lot of buildings that support the college, so there's going to be a lot of, just like everything else, there's going to be a lot of.
Boulder.
Oh gosh.
With CU and Naropa.
Oh goodness. It's gonna have your bar scene. It's gonna have.
Oh yeah.
Like it's gonna have a because you work hard, play hard, so you're going to have the party scene facilitating for the college there.
Yep.
Steam. Yeah.
Very, very much. Okay. All right. Moving on.
Just before we move on, what is the college called? We talk about this major college, but did you ever give it a name while you were talking about it?
The Arcane School.
Legit.
The
All
School of
right.
the Arcane. That's it, really.
School of the Arcane.
Wonderful.
I mean, it's very simplistic naming scheme. It was
Love that.
created long ago by one of the forgotten creators of the world.
I love
Yep.
that.
Uh-huh. And he was just very rudimentary about his naming scheme. He's like, function.
The Arcane School.
Yes. So you function as a school, so you must be called school.
Yeah. And honestly, it's grown immensely due to certain shadowy forces pouring currency and prestige into its existence. It was not always as high in the air, snooty booty concept as it is now. It has been, shall I say, corrupted into that purpose.
Ah,
Uh-huh.
lovely.
It's a thing.
Is it lovely?
Ah, lovely.
Well, yes. It would be very lovely on appearance. On the surface, it would be absolutely
That's fair.
gorgeous.
Okay. All right, let's move on to Abinadom.
Benidorm.
Benidorm?
Yeah.
Is it
Trade
Beni-
City.
That one is in the plains?
Yeah.
It's in the plains. Okay, yep.
Not
Our trade
northeast.
city has the... Wait. Whoo, buddy. That is the most dangerous place to travel to and from.
Well, but it's in the middle of the plains, which
Would
is
there-
where a lot of people are going to get.
Would there be remnants of the walkways?
Yes.
Okay, so that makes sense. So you're going to travel the walkways.
Well, there are now.
There are now, yeah. They would have effectively, no, not gilded walls. You would have the orcs traveled the plains before the time of the Horakai by walking on these giant pathways that were created
To keep you off of.
off the plains.
Why didn't they rebuild them?
Why would they? Why wouldn't they?
I think why wouldn't they is more.
Yeah,
important.
exactly. They would definitely rebuild them to allow travel to be more safe across the plains. When you move into the plains, yes, you have like exits that you can take to go down into certain cities, but once you get down to the ground level, you are exposing
Inside
yourself
the
to
city.
yeah. Like if you try to go outside the city, you're exposing yourself to great danger. So yes, you would have I think they called them the alabaster. Oh, it wasn't alabaster.
I don't know.
Anyway, they have a name. I'll find it again.
Go check out the episode on
Orcs.
orcs to find the name.
Yep, it's in there.
So
Lovely
let's
episode.
let's do this then. How about the whole continent? So everything's unique about the continents. Like on Alakaya, when you're leaving Brexus, you have
The covered walkways.
the covered walkways. Here, the walkways between major cities. Like if you want to go to the smaller cities, you gotta risk it. But if you walk from Sayatan to Abinadom, you could actually walk on a walkway that clears the plain, so it's above the plains, and you walk above it the whole time.
Well, I bet the view would be kind of like, just off the plains. I feel like that'd be really nice too.
It's
Yeah.
gorgeous, and it's kind of terrifying because you look out at the plains. It's the high grass plains, and so you see the wind swaying the grass, and you wouldn't know like what dangers lurk underneath that grass. But sometimes you could look
Beautiful.
out and you could see that there's no wind, but the grass is still shifting.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Kind of a crazy
Lovely.
concept. Also, the highways they're built massive. They're huge, and they also have like inns. You're going to be able to stop and rest at spots. You can have camp zones if you can't afford the inn. So sections that are designated for you to build a small campfire. Because there's going to be a fire
On
pit
the-
there.
on
Yeah,
the
on the road,
walkways.
on the walkways. It's like off to the side. So that way you always have a place to stop. And
Yeah, and you look down and see like a little town down there that it's like, oh, I would have to risk my life to get there.
Yep. It's not worth it.
Not worth it.
I'd have to risk my life.
So that makes the caravanners less important, but still really relevant if you want to go to a smaller town, getting to and from smaller towns.
Yep, they would be there for escort purposes. Also, banditry is much more difficult when everybody's taking the same highway.
True.
So it's probably, yeah. We just effectively made this less of a necessary thing, other than adventurers to keep down wild populations. That's pretty much it. Hunting would be a common request out here.
Yeah. So, Abinadon would be where your traders. So not
the Traders Guild.
Not trade from nation to nation, city to city. Your traders.
Yeah.
Your guys who make bread. Your guys who, or guys and girls. Your individuals who are skinners, are meat producers, that kind of
craftsman city.
Right, who go out into the dangers of the wild, collect all of the materials, and then they would bring it back to Abinadom to, like, sell their wares to the nation itself.
All right.
Kind of a situation.
This is where they hawk their goodies.
All right.
That was for a specific
Let's just say
individual.
that was really difficult for me to not do something.
You wanted to really, and I laughed because I was like, there's also somebody else who I know would not be able to resist given at the back end of that statement. Uh-huh.
Okay, moving on.
All right.
You can do it.
Finistan.
Finistan.
Oh, like Afghanistan.
Finistan.
I'm sorry, that was bad.
All right.
A large desert town. Technically controlled by the Gandharis Empire. But due to the distance from its capital...
Philadelphia? What?
What?
Ian, what? It's not Philadelphia.
It's Finistan.
Finanstam.
Finistan.
Finansam.
Finistan.
So it's the slave city.
Oh.
Oh my.
That's where they do all the slaving. And it has its own...
Do we want it to maintain the slave city? Because slaves are different. Slave concepts have changed since we originally started this.
Yes, that is true.
I don't know that slave makes
think
sense
we-
here.
Servant.
Not even servant training. That the best servants are going to come out of Garthia. That's just the
So
truth of it.
what is it because it's so far away from the capital?
This is where we talk about spices are acquired here, cultivated, grown. You have. This is like a more cavernous farming zones. You have, because you're hiding from the sun in some regards. You're also going to have your drying stations. They're going to dry out their spices to make it. It's going to be very it's going to be very rich in flavor. A lot of cooks, I picture, would come here to be able to have access to these things and hone their skills. So you're going to have like Hell's Kitchen,
Oh my gosh.
Iron Chef. So trade school.
I could see something like that being
and
like.
the like. So chefs would be here.
Cooks and cultivators.
Yep, cooks and cultivators. Okay, cooks and...
You can have a lot of elves who are here challenging the biome to try and grow. Because they're going to fall into that. That's part of their... And then you can have Minotaur who are working, and not in the traditional, like, I'm making potions. They're making... This Flavor Town, alright? Yes, I'm ripping off all the Food Network. Let's go.
Savarion Food Network
Town.
win.
So, cooks and cultivators, primary training. Hey, why don't we do it like this? Cooks and cultivating have their college.
Okay, so we have more schools.
Alright. I would think like some
Culinary
of those
school,
more
surprise.
culinary dramas would be like entertainment around that city, like you
But
know.
they don't have recording things.
No, they don't have recording, but I was
But
thinking
you would
like
have it out on the open. Like
kind
you
of
have street
gladiator
Like
vendors.
style
competitions.
Yeah.
competitions, you know, like cooking gladiators.
Cooking gladiators.
Like it. Yes!
So you have an arena. I'm loving this picture in my
And
head.
it's like...
There's an arena, and there's one stove set on one side, one stove set on the other, and then you have ingredients in the middle, and some of them are still live, and you have to kill your ingredients.
Yeah, cut it,
Gosh.
clean it,
You are doing it
all
all.
that. It's all timed, and you're Yes, all of that stuff happens in Finance Sam.
Finance Dam.
Finance Sam.
Find it,
School of Bread.
School
School
of
of
Bread
Bread
is
is
fun.
there.
Oh my
Well, it would
gosh.
be. It would
Yeah.
be all of it.
It would be everything. If you bakeries, you're also going to have access to sugar, a sweetener, which
Not sugar. You'd have.
but a sweetener.
Well, but Shaglac is everywhere,
yeah,
and it's the sugar that's used.
that's right.
But you would have, like, in these tournaments, you would have the elves who were, like, learning how to cultivate things. They would be breeding plants together to, like, trial things.
Uh-huh.
That would happen. And so you'd have, like,
Minotaur who are
unique
combining
things,
flavors into different
and
marinades.
they'd put them out, and it'd be like, you have to use this, this, and this. And then the chefs would be like, that is new substance. I'm like, all right.
Yep. And
Yes,
they had to
it's
play
new.
with it. Yep.
Use it. We want to
Yes.
see how you can do with this. All right.
Also, something that I think we talked about once
Wow,
a little
we
bit
are
ago.
running out of time.
Oh yeah. There's an animal, a squirrel-like creature that exists that is everywhere, and what makes it's this lumpy little guy. And if you capture it and you don't try and chase it down, you actually get these like sacks of flavor that are ready to go that you
I
can
don't know what
utilize.
they're called.
I had to
I know,
find
I
it.
just can't
Yeah.
remember what they're called.
But if you
So-
chase them, what they do is they take those sacks of food, those flavor sacks of almost like pure energy, and consume it to run away. And so they have these like stores for defense. But if you catch them right and harvest them appropriately, you can get some of the most explosive flavors.
Yeah.
And you can choose what they have access to by limiting their region. So you harvest and farm these guys and cultivate them, kind of like you do gizzards or
Okay.
bees.
So
only
what have
more
we
aggressive.
not covered?
Let's
Ephraim,
The major port, the
and-
big port.
Efoaheavale are both swamped out. So let's cover those on a different
We'll do Swamp
different
Tillers as a
episode.
different empire. We'll cover the individual factions.
Okay, so we need to do
All right. Then the next would be Zenthanzio.
The big city.
Zenthantio.
Then Zenthanzio.
Apparently we got Italian with this one.
Major port
Bibbidi
city.
bobbidi.
All the trading. So not traders selling their wares, but like the actual
Export.
trading, their exports. Their imports and exports come from here.
Your biggest export production, it's going to come out of here because their sole livelihood is exporting. Soup dwellers. Oh my gosh, Ian.
Oh my.
They live in the swamp. They're soup dwellers. Okie dokie.
No. The school of making soup.
Oh,
It's called
yes.
The
The soup dwellers.
The swoop.
So
I'm gonna force you guys to watch an anime. It's gonna be great.
Zenthanzio.
Lovely.
There's nothing special about Zenthan.
Nothing out of the top. It's just big because
just
it has
big
to
and-
have so many ports available for the pirates to come in, load up, and then take it out.
Yeah, it's a wares. Lots of wares.
Yep. And so it's going to have everything that a port city is going to have in abundance. It's really nothing special. Yeah. It's where the common folk work and live and behave.
All right.
Yeah. And you're going to have interesting interactions because you're going to have brothels. You're going to have more of the seedy expectations of a city like this, especially when you're catering to sailors who've been at sea. Though our sailors aren't predominantly all male either. That's something they kind of take into effect. Like a lot of the times, those things were taken care of because women on boats were either passengers or considered bad luck. Our women in our world aren't limited in that capacity. They're going to sail.
Yep. So. Dwarves are still matriarchy, true.
Yeah.
But not all dwarven pirates are dwarves.
Patriarchal. Matriarchy is female.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. So yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not going to have where it's specifically all male sailors. You're going to have ships that are intermingled more frequently.
Of course.
It's gonna be
A
our
muscapert who's really good with like wind, like air magic.
I appreciate the input, but no,
What?
not all, but mostly. It's going to be very diverse. It's just because they're a matriarchy doesn't mean that the men are the only ones who are sailing, and you're not going to have all male crew.
Patriarch.
No, that's what
I
I'm
should
saying.
say
Muscaperts are matriarchy, so
Yeah.
powerful muscapert air mage is probably going to be a woman, and you'd have air mages on your.
Absolutely.
You'd almost have to have two air
You'd need an
mages
arcanist
on your,
and air mages on every single sailing crew
right.
because you need to
So
be able
you'd
to
have a
create
ton
water.
of muscapert on teams.
Yep.
that were dwarven pirates.
And then you would make grog to sustain your water healthier for longer without an Arcanist. Anyway, no, it's good input. I appreciate the heck out of it.
All right.
All right.
Don't forget to check us out. We totally forgot to do this last time, but 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, we have a canon button for temporary. That's canon, 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Check us out. Like, comment, subscribe, share it out. And then these are important because they help us flesh out the world. So when you put your comments out there, it gives us the opportunity to kind of build it up more and give us more
Oh yeah.
information to work with.
I've seen a lot of things made canon from commenters, like commenters.
Commenters. Yep. So if you want your 2 cents, throw it in there.
Yeah. Like this is still being built.
Yeah. Something like obviously we talked about. Yeah, this city, this empire needed a little bit more love.
Oh, so we'll be doing
The last one of the major empires.
the last major empire.
I need my phone back.
There you go.
Yeesh.
Did we do? Is it the Podalayan?
No, I did put a
We
lane.
did Potolan was the not the last one. I think it was the first.
We did
second one.
Thilony. We did Podalayan.
Lesparthian.
Yep, it's the Sparthians.
That one.
Yes.
The Lesparthians.
Ah, that's right. You guys are playing in our Zed.
Oh boy.
That's what you guys are based out of. So yeah, we
All right.
actually have a campaign actively working on this one. Bye, guys.